Let's go over just some of these answers on the front. And then we'll do a few of them on the back with fractions. I've recommended for you guys to get a calculator that does fractions. Here's what I'll be using, TI-34. And you can see that right here, that U, N over D, that's numerator over denominator, those are fraction buttons. So when we come across these larger fractions, you can just punch it in, get your answer. We're not going to be spending a lot of time with how to get the common denominator, well, I forgot to reduce it, and stuff like that. So the new Common Core standards say we don't need to do that stuff by hand anymore. But the thing is that we don't have at the school a bunch of these to give you or just let you have like a textbook. Okay, you have to get it on your own. But you get to use it in all your classes because you'll need it in chemistry, physics. Okay, you'll need it in those classes as well. And if you get a calculator like a TI-34, it's like 15 bucks. Or the TI-36 Pro, that'll take you all the way through Algebra 2 and beyond. So it can be like one calculator, and you can use that basically every math class that you might ever want to take, okay, until you get to calculus. So it's a small investment, less than $20, but it'll be you can use it for multiple classes for many years, okay, even up through college. Because you do have to take math in college. Okay, so please invest one of these. I sent an email yesterday with a few links. The TI-30X2S, something like that. That also will do. It's like $8.50, $9 at Target. Okay, and that will do. That has the fraction buttons as well. All right. So if you haven't already, verify that this is what you have for these. And if you're missing like a negative to see where you lost it, a lot of times we'll see people, they'll have like 20 or 8, but just forget the negative. Don't want to have that happen. And of course, some of these you can do in your head. You already know that, you know, what plus 2 equals 6? 4 plus 2 equals 6. It's not like you needed to go through the steps to figure out the answer. What minus 3 is 17? You know, how many dollars minus $3 is $17? Oh yeah, a 20. $20 minus $3, 17. So this wasn't necessarily a practice on let's see if you can get the right answer, but really to show all the steps and then of course show the check. That's what I'm really looking for. The Common Core state standards say showing your work is a standard. If you don't show work, you are not fulfilling the standards of Algebra 1 anymore. And that's across the country. That goes through everyone, minus like 3 states. But basically every state says if you don't have work, it doesn't count. And on the computerized tests, they're no longer bubble sheets. You actually have to write out all the work, type it all out. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Not just bubble in what the right answer is anymore. So that shift of I can do in my head, so I'm not going to write anything out, that kind of goes away because they'll just, well, it's wrong until you show me how to do it. That's great, you know how to build a car, but unless you can tell and show other people how you did that by showing them your work and your steps, it doesn't really help anybody. So that's the idea, is that you need to be able to explain and show other people how you got that answer. How did you build that car? Alright, so let's take a look at the back. I think did we go up to 10 actually? We might have done 10. So let's start at 11. Alright. And just look at it in the same way that you normally do. If this was just 3 plus v equals 211, you would know you subtract 3 on both sides. If that was just a regular 3 and that was just 211, you know, just ignore the bottom here on the top. You know what you're supposed to do. The algebra does not change. It's going to be the same thing. I'm going to write in pen just so you guys can see it, but I want you guys to write in pencil, please. So you're still going to do the same steps. Okay. We're still trying to get the variable by itself. right? That's 0. So now we have v equals, and I'm going to line these up exactly vertically. Drop the v straight down. Drop the equal sign straight down. Please keep things lined up. It's just easier to follow, and when you get stuck, it's easier for you to help somebody or for them to help you. Now, here's where some of you might normally stop. Oh my gosh, there's fractions. What do I do? Okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get a calculator and just punch it in. 211 over 30. Okay, so I can do this. 211 over 30 minus 1/3. Just like that. Okay. That's 201 over 30. And I don't have to worry about can that be reduced or anything like that. That's it. Okay. Now without that, we have to do a little bit more work. Okay. Without that, we'd have to go over here and say, well, multiply top and bottom by 10. So this is 10 over 30, right? And then 211 minus 10 is 201. Okay. Comes up to the same thing, but that's a little bit more work. And in a sense, we just did a check right there by doing that. So we got same thing on both sides. Just on number 12, I'd like to make a point that there's a double negative here. So the first thing you want to show me is that you know that those two negatives do make a positive, so you rewrite it. Do a rewrite step right below. Two negatives make a positive. Negatives make a positive. Then go through this algebra. Adding 17 over 14, subtract 17 over 14, right? Subtract 17 over 14. And I'm going to drop the variable straight down, drop the equal sign straight down. It leaves a gap here, that's okay. It just emphasizes that this cancels out, equals 0. Positive 17 over 14, negative 17 over 14 adds up to 0. And these two fractions aren't too bad. Let's get this on here. There we go. So let's see here. 43 over 7 plus, right? 17 over 14. 103 over 14. Of course, wouldn't it be bad to check these every time? Of course, when you're using a calculator, even then you can make mistakes, so it's not trivial or a waste of time. Okay, there we go. And again, those add up, so we end up with 120 over 14. And then when we divide top and bottom, that should work out right. Does it look like it does? Yeah. Does that look like? It doesn't, does it? Ooh. Can you guys find the error? That'd be 60 over 7. This is 43 over 7. Yeah, so there's a mistake somewhere. Let's see if you guys can take a second and find it. So yeah, now we figured out that we added on the calculator instead of subtracting, fixed it, and now when we do a check, add those together and you get 86, and 86 over 14 once you reduce it equals, let's see here, so plus 17 over 14, okay. 86 over 14, that's what we got, but does that reduce? Okay, so, yep, divide top and bottom by 2, 86 divided by 2 is 43. And now we got the same thing on both sides. There we go. So, 2 points here. Number one, the calculator is only as good as the person using it. You can still make mistakes, just like you forget a negative on the paper. You can accidentally punch in the wrong key on the calculator. Number two, because of that, doing a check is not a waste of time. You can still find out if you made a mistake, like we did. Oh, they didn't match. We went back, we found it. Okay, crisis averted. Okay, good. Now, yes, I will agree that this is much more difficult. So, without a calculator that can do fractions. So, if you haven't already, some of you maybe made this decision and you have one. But if you haven't decided you really want to pass high school, this is the way there. You need to go get it, because it's going to be very difficult without. And again, you can use it for multiple classes, not just math. Alright, so I'll leave you to do the next two on your own. Do we need to do any of these decimal ones down here?
I do like the ones on the front. I do like the ones on the front.
We did
The
those.
decimal ones? Okay.
Do we need to do any of these, or you guys just want to work? Third? Nope. You guys need to do some of the fractions again. Gotta get used to it. So 15 or 17? Alright. So let's do one more together, then I'll let you guys work for the rest of the period. Tell me what the first step is. I will write it. Everybody's looking at 17 right now? Do you see anything similar with 17 and 12? Yep, the double negative. First step, rewrite it without the double negative. There we go. So we're trying to figure out, if you will, let's say this is $4.10. Let's say there's a zero here. $4.10 plus what would have us be at negative 46, 5.46. So it looks like we're owing money. It looks like we're going to have some debt, pay off $4.10, and still owe $5.46. So how much do we owe initially before we paid That's $4.10. Okay. So if we go ahead and solve this, n equals, keeping them lined up, showing that there's a 0 here, right? And then, yeah, if we owe $5.46 and owe $4.10, how much do we owe altogether? $9.56. So it looks like initially we owed $9.56 and we subtracted $4.10, and that's the same as owing $5.46. Again, this goes a lot faster if you have that calculator handy.
What if our phone has one?
Yeah, you still can't use phones in the classroom, unfortunately. You have to go to colleges for that.